Four unidentified individuals have launched an attack and opened fire on traffic police officers in the city of Makhachkala in Russia's Dagestan. The information was spread on local Telegram channels. 3 police officers were killed in the attack. 2 of the attackers were killed during the shooting, and 2 fled the scene in a police vehicle. An operation has been launched to detain them. It is not known what caused the incident or who committed it. A 12-year-old girl is said to have received shrapnel wound during the shooting. The Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Republic of Dagestan issued a preliminary statement on the incident and confirmed that the police officers were killed.
Девочки, это не смешно.
Нас не пускают скотчем. Не пускают, да? Нет. Что, вас выпустить должны? Там закрыто.
Да.
Да, идемте.
Задержалась? Что она задержалась? Задержалась Фатима, нормально так задержалась.
Вай, побежал.
О, побежали.
Ай, бля! Ошалеть! Ой, там сайбу есть, что ли? Смотри! Ой, ошалеть! Дай, пошли на ходу! Идем.
There has been growing concern among Russian elites after Ukraine and the US signed a minerals deal. They fear that the alliance between the US and Ukrainian sides could close the window of opportunity for Russia to conclude a peace agreement on favorable terms. The Washington Post reports this. According to the publication, this week Russian officials were dismissive of the news of the agreement between Ukraine and the United States, with one Russian figure, Alexei Pushkov, saying it was another important step toward the colonization of Ukraine. Deputy Chairman of the Russian Parliament's Committee on International Affairs Alexei Chipa echoed his words, stating that the agreement allegedly further increased Ukraine's dependence on the United States. The agreement essentially turned Ukraine into a mineral colony, he told Russian journalists. However, as the publication notes, behind the scenes, there is growing concern among some members of the Russian elite that this agreement could mean a new rapprochement between Ukraine and the United States, which could close the window of opportunity for Russia to conclude a peace agreement on favorable terms. A Russian official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said that internal pressure is now mounting on Putin to at least pretend that he is ready to make concessions. He understands that he needs to cooperate more. Otherwise, the bill proposed by Graham will be a serious blow, because the government has already announced that the budget deficit is growing, the source told the Washington Post. The White House is considering direct pressure on the Kremlin to end the war in Ukraine as Russian dictator Vladimir Putin continues to resist Washington's peace overtures, according to Politico. It should be noted that the Russian side is not considering the option of a complete ceasefire, offering short temporary truces instead. Politico expressed doubt that the signing of a minerals agreement between Kiev and Washington would be able to soften Vladimir Putin's resistance to the ideas proposed by the United States to end the war in Ukraine. The publication, citing sources familiar with the matter, reports that the White House has not yet reached an agreement on what further steps the United States should take to achieve peace between Ukraine and Russia. At the same time, according to the information released, the American government is currently discussing difficult decisions that would involve direct pressure on the Kremlin. U.S. President Donald Trump himself has previously avoided taking appropriate steps towards Russia. The Russians are throwing their wounded soldiers into the fight. Near Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast, wave after wave of tanks and infantry fighting vehicles slam into Ukrainian lines, Army TV reports. As of May 2025, Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast has become one of the most fiercely contested sectors on Ukraine's eastern front. Recently, Russian troops have launched sustained assaults to advance toward the neighboring border of Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. The fighting has been particularly brutal, with Ukrainian forces repelling up to 64 Russian attacks in a single day. Some of the soldiers inside are already wounded, others are too scared to leave the vehicles. But they're given no choice, Euromaidan Press says. Yulia Stepaniuk, head of communications for Ukraine's 117th Separate Heavy Mechanized Brigade, says that Russian armored vehicles tried to reach the front to drop off infantry. Ukrainian troops managed to set them ablaze. Even when one IFV caught fire, the soldiers inside didn't immediately jump out. Why? Stepaniuk says Russian troops fear Ukrainian drones, and their own commanders, more than death. They're genuinely afraid. They don't want to fight, but the order is clear: if you come back, you're considered dead. A captured soldier said they were lined up before the assault, and one who hesitated was shot in the legs, she explains. He went into battle limping anyway. According to Stepaniuk, Russian troops now understand that their only chance to survive is to surrender, if they're lucky. Recall, for more than a year since capturing the ruins of Avdiivka in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk Oblast, the 600,000-strong Russian Army of Occupation in Ukraine has had its sights set on one main objective: Pokrovsk, a city in Donetsk with a pre-war population of 60,000 that anchors a chain of important towns and cities stretching north toward the border with Russia. In the Pokrovsk direction, the enemy attacked our defensive fortifications in the areas of Yelizavetivka, Promin, Novokranka, Kotlin, Yudakny, Novodoretsk, Novolexandrivka, Troitsk, Kotlyarivka, Lisivka, Dachin, Uspanivka, and Andrivka. All attacks were successfully repelled. The Russian forces continues to amass forces for further assaults, Kortitsia Operational Strategic Group said.